So, first of all, I'm just going to give you a context of what I do, of what we do in Explora. We are multimedia immersive guides that are really focused on the AR and VR technologies. So Explorer, it's a groundbreaking guide that provides customized visits, customized content, based on users' location, profile, and interest. This means that we have a contextualization system to give information, to give content to people while they are doing their visits on cities, on museums, on visitor centers, on theme parks, and so on. We are offering interactive and immersive experiences through these visits and through these tours, using rich content, powerful storytelling, and engaging gamification. We really believe that the contents and that the power of the contents and storytelling on immersive technologies are really important. So this is something that we really bet on. And also to engage people, we use gamification as loyalty programs to put people coming back to the visits and to these experiences. We also use our technology to promote sales on venues, using this contextualization system to giving call to actions to buy merchandising of the museums and everything during the visits. And so at the end of the day, what we deliver in Explora with our app is top-class experiences for the visitors of the venues and cities, and enhancing analytics to improve decisions. So what we do is that during the visit, we are all the time gathering data from people, from visitors, and we use this data to give analytics for the promoters to have a better information for their businesses. So right now, Explora works for the real and the virtual world, and of course that is working for the virtual world is something that is more recent for our technology, because we were really working on augmented tours, and right now with this pandemic situation, of course that the natural trend for us was to use our technology that we were already using for physical visits, using this technology for the virtual visits too. And this is where and how and what I want to explore during this session. So we work to these different kind of sectors, mainly for museums and heritage and sports and venues, but also for retail and malls, tourism and city tours, and industry. This industry sector is something really new for us, and it's totally attendance and totally a thing that happened to us from this context. Actually, we have this expertise on guided tours, and what we saw in our market is that we were not receiving not only demanding from museums, but also from industries, from showrooms that wanted to guide their visitors virtually while people were at home to show their products, to promote their products. So this was something new for us, and this was a consequence of this context. So it was like a huge opportunity for us too. Here we have some examples of how we applied our tours with immersive technologies. For Benfica Stadium, for example, we developed a tour where augmented reality and virtual reality is present all the time, to give life to this stadium, to give people feel the emotions of a stadium, of a day game for Benfica during our tour. This is an example of what we have been doing for industry. ASP is a sterilized company for health, and they they use our technology to present their products at a home experience, and also to have a guided tour to their center of excellence in Dublin. This is an example of what we did for a city of Oporto, with AR, and we did with a strong component of gamification too. This is an example of what we do for a theme park, and here we are putting back Churchill back to where he was on a hotel while he was there on this island. The thing is here with these examples that I'm giving you is that I'm picking up all the examples that are really iconic to show how augmented reality on tourism, on heritage can help to bring history back, can help to bringing life back to the places where there was no stories, there was no life, there was no entertainment, there was no power on the, and intensity on the experiences. This is another example, for example, of a museum where we applied augmented reality and virtual reality to show how was this village on the 16th century while they found out a dry cleaning place, and through the augmented reality we put back this content there. And this is an interesting example that we developed for a historical village that was totally destroyed by the French invasions, and we put back the castle there that was destroyed on the 19th century through augmented reality. So this is a really immersive visit to this village with our technology, and this is a good example of where and how augmented reality is really helping heritage to be more enhanced and to be more, and to have a storytelling on that on an immersive way. I will share with you a video about this project for you to understand what we did with augmented reality and virtual reality on this project.
The year was 1810. Napoleon's invading troops conquered and later blew up the castle of Almeida. Portugal eventually got its territory back, but Almeida was forever without its castle. So how can this historic village promote tourism if its main attraction exploded over 200 years ago? Presenting Explorer, Almeida Case Study. Explorer is a revolutionary multi-solution self-guided tour that uses state-of-the-art technology to drive users along their visit in a totally interactive and immersive way. Through Explorer, Almeida's visitors are able to time travel back 200 years and see before their eyes the long-gone Almeida Castle, the inhabitants, the troops, and get a better understanding of how it all was back in the 19th century. From the get-go, Explorer is all about enhancing the pre-existing tour through technology, improving the storytelling, the engagement, and the overall experience. Our team set up on a journey to accurately recreate some key historical elements of the village. The entire castle was digitally brought back to life. Now, visitors can not only see before their own eyes how it once was and where it once was, but they are also able to walk inside one of its old tunnels. A military camp was also recreated in a 360-degree experience, and the old monastery of Senora Loreto was also reborn, just to name a few examples. Markers were placed throughout the village, which triggered contextualized information and content as the visitor walks around. It is truly an immersive experience. Explore Almeida beyond your 5 senses. Put on your armor, download the app, and depart on this adventure.
So now I'm going to share with you what happened to our business on this context, and while the people were at home. What is happening is really everybody already knows that people just started to use more digital and virtual tours. This is not new for anybody. But what can be new is that there is this emergence of a virtual tourism that maybe is going to be here forever, and that maybe it's going to help business to grow, and maybe will help museums to have alternative ways of having revenue. So what is happening right now? So first of all, to give you a context of the travel and tourism sector, we all know or we all have an idea that this was a really important sector for the world, for the global GDP. So what we know too is that with COVID-19, this caused a slump in the tourism, in the trade and in the travel services and consumption of this sector. So what now? What now? What is happening right now? And what I want to share with you is that what we see with our clients, what we see in our markets, is that there is really an emergence of an extended tourism, a tourism that is totally more keen on working with innovative tools such as augmented reality and virtual reality. This is happening right now with us. It's happening with many companies that are working on extended tourism too. And this is an interesting context to experience right now for companies like ours, because we saw that there are lots of opportunities, and also we see that for AR and VR, these technologies have the opportunity of their lifetimes, because everybody was talking about AR and VR since 5-6 years ago, all the time, saying that it's going to be a really value market, that is going to a market that is going to explode. But what we didn't know was that this pandemic was going to happen, and this was going to give a huge opportunity for these technologies to rise up. So how can immersive technologies bring new ways of tourism, and how can extended tourism help to reinvent the status quo for visitor experience? And can extended tourism help to create new business models and to achieve additional revenue? Is what I want to share with you on this session, because I believe that with immersive technologies, we really can have alternatives of reinvention of this sector, and new business models, and new opportunities for many companies. What we saw that is happening, and here I have some numbers, is phenomena like a 5,000-year-old Egyptian tomb, for example, that is a totally traditional sector, a really traditional museum. Through this pandemic situation, were opening their doors virtually for visitors to come and see the tombs. Also, we saw during this year that over 2,000 museums were going virtual through Google Cultural Institute. And we also saw innovative and some interesting phenomena with museums too, such as, for example, the Birmingham museums that were doing immersive experiences and gamification systems, where people just get engaged being curators there, virtually curators. And they got an audience of 75,000 players in a few time. So this is what's happening. We also see and we know that there's lots of studies and reports saying that the immersive technologies that are really emerged and are really being a bet for the brands. These are some numbers from Accenture Immersive Experience Digital Report from the final of the last year. From this study, we know that 64% of leading brands are starting to invest in immersive experiences. And this is something that is really interesting for companies like ours, and for those who work on this sector, because again, with this situation, we had the opportunity of a lifetime, because really people started to look at these experiences on a different way. We also see from this study that 50% of the consumers remember brands that regularly engage with them with immersive technologies, and this is really interesting too. And not only they remember the brands, but also they will be more willing to buy the products after engaging with immersive technologies. So this is something really interesting. This is something that is going to be here to stay. That's what I believe. And it's not only me that says this. It's all the studies are getting into this conclusion. The World Travel and Tourism Council of COVID-19 reports says that the rise of virtual tourism is a trend that will endure and becoming an increasingly important part of sales and marketing process. So right now, people are at home, people are trying these technologies. They are really keen to go physically to the places. So the virtual experiences on tourism are not going to replace the physical visits, but it's going to be a really important tool for people to use this for promoting themselves. And again, this is not only me that I'm saying that. That is saying that I see this from my market, I see this from my company, and I see this from every studies and news that we were reading. For example, we have on this interview on BBC, the German National Tourism Chief Executive, Petra Hedorfer, said that VR and AR applications are essential elements in keeping interest in the destination of Germany. So keeping alive during these recessions. It's a way of having people there with some connection, with some engagement. And this is a really important conclusion that all the tourism sector is reaching right now. So what are the main challenges and opportunities for the extended tourism right now? What we see that is happening is that I have here six challenges and opportunities, and what we see that is happening is that all the audience are more demanding, and this is really important for those who work on this sector, because it's a really big challenge only for the best ones. So it's not enough to give a 360 degrees experiences for the users. They have already seen that. So we need to get things like ambisonic sound, for example, to have their remoted guides that help these immersive experiences through the visit. We need to give new formats, new experiences, new storytellings inside, new interactivities inside these 360 experiences and AR experiences in order to reach this audience, because they are really more demanding. They have experienced many things while they were at home, and they are really more demanding. So this is a huge opportunity for creatives and for the content developers to succeed. So people have already went to Louvre on a virtual visit, but they have never been on the moon, for example. So let's go there. Let's tease these creatives to have a more impact contents for this kind of virtual tourism. We also have a challenge here, that is the rise. On one hand, we have this rise of a more demanding audience, but on the other side, we still don't have a total accessible tools for these promoters. So some promoters of these experiences are still not really interested on investing on these technologies, because they really see that they are not totally accessible in economic terms. And also, again, and we are all the time talking about this, the glasses, for example, all the wearables, for example, that we can use for AR and VR are not totally massive right now. are not totally accessible for all the consumers. So this is a challenge that we have here to give access to all the people that want to try these solutions. Another challenge that we have here, or opportunity, or a fact that we are seeing here, is that, for example, the Amazon Explore, that is something that Amazon launched for virtual experiences, may foretell the success or failure of VR in travel industry. So this is a really important part of this history. That is what is going to happen with Amazon Explore, that is launching their this business right now. Also, and this is really applicable for this kind of content of AR and VR, that it's really important that while we are experiencing these innovative solutions, the 5G accessibility is a reality for everybody. So this is something that will accelerate this boost on the AR and VR industry for tourism. Also, an important thing that is happening with this immersive technologies for tourism is that with this context and with the people at home trying these technologies, we are reaching new audience. For example, we are reaching everybody that are at home, and they are at home right now. Then they will travel physically, and then they will go to the places. Then they will use these tools to prepare their visits. But what about the others? What about the others that cannot move, for example, because they have disabilities? And what about the others that don't have money to travel to the other side of the world? So for these kind of people, here we have a huge opportunity to have new business models, to have new kind of virtual and extended tourism for these people, to reach new audience, to reach new people that are in a bed, for example, and that they cannot travel, and to with impacts and with new business models for museums and for cities and for tourism. So this is a huge opportunity here that we have on this context. The last one that I want to share with you is this monetization of the immersive tourism. So museums, cities, everybody that is working on tourism visits and visitor experiences, they will need to realize and they will need to find a solution for the monetization of this kind of tourism. So it's not enough to give a 360 degrees experiences. We need to really impact people. They are more demanding. We need to really bet on contents, on storytelling, on gamification, on immersive, really immersive impacts experiences. But it's not enough, because at the end of the day, the museums need money they need to monetize this kind of experiences. So they will need to reinvent their tickets. They will need to reinvent their businesses in order to have an alternative of a business. So they were forced to think about this. They were forced to think about these alternatives. They were forced to think that maybe if one day really something could happen like this, they will be prepared for that, because they have been explored these kind of solutions on these times. So this was my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. I don't know if anybody has any question. I can share here on the chat. I don't know. I can share here on the chat my email. So I think that I have questions here. Do you see extended tourism outdoor? Do you see an extended tourism enabled only by AR, or you think VR and Web 3D could hold a foot in a market? Well, I think that this is an opportunity not only for AR, but also for 3D experiences in VR too, because as I said, people are really more demanding. They really need impact in experiences. And with 3D virtual worlds, we can put people going back to history and telling them the stories that they could never ever tried. So it's a really interesting opportunity for all these technologies. Let me see. If I have any more questions. Let's not forget the huge need to increase accessibility for sites that aren't wheelchair. Totally agree. It's really important to not to have really inclusive visitor experiences. And with this opportunity for AR, with this pandemic context, there's a huge opportunity for accessibilities too, because now we can have experiences for those who cannot go to some places, and they can immerse on this kind of technology and experiences through these contents that everybody is developing all over the world. I don't know if anybody has any more questions. I think that my time has gone. A question, in the future, do you think that the access to these local-based VR and AR tools without can be accessed without downloading an app? Yes, of course. Actually, we developed, for example, web apps for experience AR experiences. The thing is that the browsers and what we use on a browser for AR is not really enough, and it's not as good as what we can reach on an app. But I think that in the future that everybody could have these experiences on a computer and without having to have an app, because the browsers and because the cameras of the computers will be able to have a really more well-performed experiences in AR. So I'm sorry, because I think that I need to leave. I don't know if you want to send me your questions, and if you want, you can add me to your LinkedIn, and we can share some ideas there. We have so many issues to discuss. I'm seeing here more people sharing things and ideas. So, but as I need to leave, I will just ask you to send me your ideas and questions by email. Again, I'm going to put in here, and by LinkedIn if you want, and also, yeah, I will put my LinkedIn here. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, my profile. Now they want me to verify. Sorry. So sorry. Something is going wrong with my LinkedIn, but it's Mafalda Rica in LinkedIn. Okay, Mafalda Rica, and my email again, mafaldarica@goexplorer.com. And thank you everybody for your time. And please share with me your ideas and send me your emails. Okay, bye bye. Thank you.